What's up, everybody? We are live in the basement of a bank, surrounded by all the people we love. 500 sharp Rangers fans. We got Miss Morgan on the ones and the twos and the wheels of steel. We are safe from the gunfire of West Baltimore, and there are no squeegee kids anywhere near us. I am the coach, Pete Eibner. This is my co-coach, Adam the Miz Mizell, and we are off the crossbar. Coming at you live, telling you everything about Baltimore soccer that you want to know. Miz, what is happening?
It's another great week. Weather's been fantastic. We have not seen the R word in a couple days, and I'm thankful for that. So hopefully we keep that streak of nice weather going and creep into the fall. It's getting cool at night, so you might have to bust out the hoodie. It might be hoodie season.
Might be hoodie season, but let me tell you something, folks. When you wear it tight, like me and the co-coach, you got an SPF like nobody's business. I wear it, it looks like I have Elmer's glue on my head, but I am not getting the melanomas on my bean.
I'm a bucket hat guy, and I just roll like that, and it seems to work out good, so we'll keep rolling like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Miz, you know what I didn't have to deal with this week?
Back problems?
Back problems. My back is feeling good. Let me tell you something. I was coaching the other day on the sidelines for Perry Hall. We score a banger. Zach Eichelberger finishes. I'm jumping. I might have jumped 15 feet in the air. I feel great. Adam Maddox.
Is that possible?
It is possible. Through the healing hands of Dr. Adam Maddox, the best chiropractor in the business. Let me tell you something, Miz. When your back isn't feeling well, you go to Adam Maddox. He does the thing with the, and he does the thing with the, and then all of a sudden he gets out these guns, and these guns, he puts them up to your back, and I'm telling you, man, it relaxes every muscle. You walk out of there, you don't just walk out, you glide out. You ever see the cartoons, you know, where the aroma comes and the cartoon will be sitting there and then it kind of picks them up by the nostrils and floats them out the room?
Of course.
That's what happens when your back is right, from Dr. Adam Maddox. So call him at Ideal Health Chiropractic. There's the number. Let's roll with it. Go see him. He's the best in the business.
With those sound effects, you're either really good at Pac-Man or you're getting a great job done to your back. So whatever the case may be.
And I am both, because I will have you know, I will challenge any soccer coach, any soccer player, anybody in any walk of life to Pac-Man. Because back in the day at the Royal Farms on Hartford Road and Neckadale Avenue, fourth key, baby, fourth key. I knew the pattern, had my stuff tight.
How much a credit? 25 cents?
25 cents. You only get one free guy, though.
Really?
Only get one free guy.
Is there a line? Did anybody have next? Or
when I was playing, there was a line. People watched. I took a long time.
I got you.
I was the man.
You sure it wasn't Wawa back then, though?
No, I'm telling you, it was the farm stores, and I kicked Zach Beers' in Pac-Man.
I'm sure he's still reeling about that, by the way.
Doesn't talk to me. Facebook friend at best.
Unbelievable.
All right, Miz. Coming up to one of my favorite parts of our show.
I mean, it's one of mine, too.
This is where you get to look inside the mind of the co-coach Adam the Miz Mizell. It could be anything. It's a potpourri. Whatever that wheel spins on and lands on comes out. And we have a conversation. I'm telling you, this guy, it's amazing. It's the Miz Jury Question of the Week.
Summer just passed. I'm a little sad. We're getting into the fall weather. So, as you know, during the course of the year, as you change seasons, you know, the menus change too. The meals change. You know, you go with whatever's good in the season. Well, in the summertime, what's great around here? There's crabs is king, right?
Yeah.
So, along with crabs, though, you throw in a little corn here and there, right? So, we had a hot topic item over the summer at one of our family gatherings. Because I noticed that other people were eating corn differently than I, right? So I'm a spiral corn on the cob eater, but there are people that eat in rows. Which is better?
Miz, I got to tell you, for my dollar, it's rows. It's old school typewriter. Pop, 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 pop. You got to twist it. Pop, 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 pop. And I'm telling you, that's the way to eat corn. You don't want to go like this because then you don't get the efficiency. You go straight across and just bow, hit it.
Oh, wow.
And look, here's the other thing. You want to get weird. This is where people get weird. It's not just how you eat the corn, it's how you put the butter on the corn. You got your traditionalists that put it on like that. You have other people that take it and they twist the corn onto the butter, which to me is freaking disgusting. Get your corn off the butter. But this is my favorite. I saw a guy do this. I stole it, claim it as my own. They take the butter, they put it on the bread, wrap the bread around the corn like a pig in a blanket and twist it. And all of a sudden the corn comes out glazed in butter and you typewriter that son right across.
That's a lot of work to butter a piece of corn.
It is, but I'm telling you, man, steal it, claim it as your own. It is awesome.
I like corn, but I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on that. I mean, why not just take, the old, well, not old, but the new invention, the little butter stick pusher thing, put the butter stick in there, push it out, and just rub it on? No?
By the way, that is not the symbol for butter stick pusher thing. I'm just telling you right there.
Okay, well,
yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know why you do it that way, and I don't know. It is a lot of work, but it looks cool, and people will talk to you, or they'll back up.
I'm surprised you're a rose guy. I had you pegged as a spiral guy. No?
Rose.
Wow.
Rose.
Morgan?
I had to cut it off. I have a fake tooth.
Okay.
Cut it off.
Hey, look, that's a million ways to skin a cat. That's just another one.
A million ways to eat a corn. All right, Ms. Excellent job today.
You too, buddy.
We are off the crossbar. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, this is the coach, Pete Eibner, to talk about my company, Fast Forward Training Systems. We develop kids with the ball, make them better soccer players, increase their technical skill, increase their speed of play, and yes, we also do strength, speed, and agility. We've been in business since 1991. We've gotten over 500 kids to the Division I level in college. We have trained the best in the area. Would love to train you. So let's get out, let's kick the ball around. Visit the website, www.fastforwardtrainingsystems.com. Welcome back. We are off the crossbar. And we are coming at you with a topic the Miz brought up in an off-studio conversation. Something near and dear to our hearts. I got to tell you, he's on to something here. It's something that needs to be talked about in the soccer community. It might be the one thing that's holding this country back, not just this area, this country. Tell them what it is, Miz.
Well, there's been a lot of articles recently. I think just a few weeks ago, Alex Morgan from the women's national team put out an article about basically debunking the model of pay to play in the United States and how it's affecting our youth development. And so I figured that, around here we have a lot of that through the club scene and all, actually into the rec travel scene as well. I mean, there's nothing free going on. So I figured that would be a good topic to go over and see. I just want to get your take on it.
All right. Are you asking my take?
I'm asking your take. What is your take on the pay-to-play model?
The pay-to-play model is guaranteed to stunt the growth of players. And here's why. It hits a level where soccer becomes either unaffordable to certain families or there is so much money these parents are throwing into it between the leagues, between the tournaments, between the 8 uniform kits you gotta buy nowadays, the sweatsuits, the travel, the mandatory hotels you have to stay in if you're playing out of state. When you add all of that up, the investment is so great that the parents demand performance out of their kids like it is a freaking job. And the kids get to a certain age and they say, I don't want a job at 12. I love the game, but I'd rather go kick it around with my friends. I don't need to be going 6 different states, 5 weekends in a row to play 8 soccer games a day. I just want to be a kid. And so the pay-to-play model has both a limiting factor and an overwhelming factor to the pressure that's put on these kids to perform. What do you think?
Well, I would ask you, so if the job is to develop kids to reach their maximum potential, the only way you can really truly do that, I believe, is by pairing them against like or better competition. So there has to be a price put on someone or an entity that organizes that, coordinates that in a way of a league or a tournament or some sort of competition where, okay, you know, these teams who are at a certain level, they're going to play against each other, and now we enter, you know, a recruiting process into that. So now we bring college coaches and blah, 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 blah. The list goes on and on. So my point is that's not free, right? So there's a price that has to be put on a tournament, a league, you know, whatever. And so that money has to come from somewhere. So when everybody, you know, immediately points to the pay to play and it's ruining soccer and this and that, show me the method where we do it all for free, because I don't know that anyone anywhere can put together a model where a kid gets outfitted, a kid gets trained by a proper coach, a kid plays on a decent facility, like a decent field, you know what I mean, that's actually groomed, or whether it's turf or maintained in some way, shape, or form, and then goes and plays at a good competition level and does all of that for free. I don't know that exists. I don't know if it's possible. I'd be interested to hear someone's take on that. But for me, the only true free way to play is pickup. That's it. And then outside of that, I think everything else comes at a cost. I just do.
I agree with you. It does come at a cost. But who's the best player to ever come out of Baltimore? Your opinion?
Probably Pete Eibner.
Definitely not Pete Eibner. Definitely not. I might not even be the best player to come out of this studio. Seriously. Best player. Give me your top three.
Well, I mean, some of the guys that were before my time, I've heard many stories about, but like Sonny Askew.
Sonny Askew. Right there.
Definitely top of the list. And
So Sonny Askew, let's use, because he would be mine.
Okay.
Sonny Askew can do things with the ball that I have not seen anybody else do, and he would do them in games. So Sonny Askew grew up in Highlandtown, right? I don't think he played a tournament in New Jersey until he got to the professional level. I don't know that he went to New Jersey. You'd have to ask him, and he'd be a great guest. Sonny Askew played mostly at John Booth Field right down the street.
Sure.
Right? Look at that whole, there was a time University of Baltimore won a national championship, right? Won a national championship in the NCAA, and the joke was that the coach that recruited them all parked his car on the same street and walked house to house. So what I'm saying is, yeah, it is important to play competition, but it's also your surroundings. Now, we live in a different world now. You can't just have your kids walk down to Honeygo Park and get a game of pickup, although that does happen.
Bingo.
We live in a different world, so the Sonny Askews aren't going to happen as much or maybe ever. But look at all the people making big money off of soccer. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that are coming off the backs of parents. At some point, the cost has to be relative to what you're getting. And I'm not saying it has to be free, but I also think there's a lot of people exploiting the opportunity to make money. Hey, and that's the world we live in. But I'll tell you what, I don't know that I had a paid youth coach ever.
I don't know that I did either, but I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's just a different time today. On top of that, how many players do you think overall are in this area right now? How many soccer players would you say?
Probably 15, 20,000.
Okay, you named one guy who was successful coming out of the area that didn't play pay to play. But I'm saying I know there's more.
I could go down a list.
But what is the percentage? You just said if we say the data says there's 20,000 players, we could name what? 15, 20?
Adam, there were 5 people from Highlandtown that played on the national team that grew up on the same street.
Yeah, agreed. They played like competition.
Same street.
They played against each other, right?
Right, but you didn't have to go. The big game back then, when I was growing up, the big game from then, and by the way, I played at St. Dominic's, was absolutely freaking horrible, that program. Our big games were if we had to go play Mount Carmel, because it was 20 minutes away. Man, it's all the way up there. It was a huge game. When Highlandtown teams played Dundalk, you would have thought it was like the World Cup. But there was a culture bred that made you want to be the best in your area.
It's not there anymore.
We don't have that because the area has expanded. And now what you have, instead of you playing with your friends and your buddies and the guys in your area, now what coaches do is they'll watch the kids develop, and then they recruit the living shit out of them, and they consolidate them onto one team, and before you know it, you're watching some guy in skinny pants coach kids that you've coached your whole life.
Well, that could be, and like you said, times have changed. So as people, move and they're spread out geographically, it's really hard to kind of gather kids up for pickup, especially if they don't drive.
Absolutely.
Whereas when we were kids, a lot of kids in the neighborhood, right? You'd grab a backpack with some stuff, a drink, and you're there all day long playing in the courts or whatever. It's just not there anymore.
Yeah, but maybe that should be facilitated.
I agree. How though?
That I don't have the answer to.
Yeah, right.
You gotta get somebody with
We're
a higher
searching
pay
for
grade.
answers.
Hey,
we got
I'm
one.
here to complain.
We got a guy that might know.
Let's bring him in.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to come back with our guest for the week. You love him. Some of you don't. Some of you hate him. But I bet you bottom dollar, love him or hate him, you know his name and you've paid money to watch him perform. We are off the crossbar, and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody. A while back, I had a lot of problems with my lower back. It started with a muscle called my piriformis. And when that locked up, my lower back locked up, I couldn't coach, I couldn't run, I almost couldn't walk. I went to see Dr. Adam Maddox at Ideal Health Chiropractic, and within 3 sessions, I'm back on the soccer field. I'm able to run, I'm able to lift weights, I'm able to train, I'm able to compete. And not only is he a sponsor of the show, but he's a really, really good guy. I consider him a friend. Check him out if you have any back difficulties, any back pain, even if it's in your IT band in your leg. My man, Dr. Adam Maddox, is the best in the business.
Here we go, folks. And off the crossbar, we always get the best guest. Miz, let me tell you something. I'm fired up about this one. I am fired up, Miz.
Scale of 1 to 10, how fired up?
16.
Nice.
I've blown past 10. I've left 10 in the dirt, in the dust. 10
I like it.
is like The Sopranos. It's done. It's over. We're at 16. We're at a whole nother level.
I'm pumped
when
too.
we're bringing in celebrities like this, we are in a whole nother level.
Landon Donovan's here?
Not quite.
Okay.
But, by the way, we have to apologize for bumping him on the last 6 shows. Here we go. First of all, let me say, this guy's one of my very, very good friends. I've known him since we were 11. When we were 11, he was one of the best goalkeepers in the area, one of the best football players in the area, one of the best soccer players in the area, the funniest guy I ever grew up with, by far. He has been on HBO. He has been on Comedy Central. He is the best stand-up comic in Baltimore. He was the host of the #1 radio show in Baltimore on 98 Rock. He is coming here to Off the Crossbar, a man who needs no introduction anywhere in Loch Raven. Let's give it up for the master of disaster, the prince of pain, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, and the king of Baltimore comedy, Mr. Mickey Cucchiella!
Thank you.
What's going on?
You're doing my eulogy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, when I die. Oh, you're the guy speaking for me, bro.
I tell you what, I can do it. By the way, for you for free, anybody else who wants to hire me to do a eulogy, please contact me at 410-599-5248, and I will give the best eulogy you have ever seen for the low price of $150.
That's low. That's discounted.
That is pretty low, Pete. We got to up your rates.
Well, okay,
It's been a
wait.
while.
I won't need an opening act. And if you charge admission at the door, you'll make that back and then some.
I gotta say, I feel like I'm at the basement of what's that, Murphy's, or what is the place on Harford where you go in the.
Oh, it used to be Tracy's Comedy Club. Now it's called Sully's or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the
yeah.
basement. Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like
Comedians,
that.
Yeah, it's nice. All I need is the fillet, and I'm good. You know?
Look, here's the deal. He worked that room, that comedy club, all the time.
I seen him
Right?
there. Yeah.
So one time I had to do this benefit. It was for Comedy for a Cause, and it was sponsored by Kelly and Associates. So we raised health care for the homeless. Kelly and Associates is a Christian organization, very, very, hardcore in their beliefs, which is great. And they said, "Hey, we'll sponsor your comedy program, Pete, but just keep it clean." So I know what Mickey does. I've known him my whole life. And I said, "Mickey, Dad, I've seen him work clean. Works clean great. Hey,
Let me guess. Can I guess?
Yeah.
He brought Windex and did the windows before the show.
He did not.
Okay.
He opened it with a 15-minute rant on how can I say this? I can say like entering the back door.
I mean, that could be considered clean.
It wasn't. The room was in hysterics, but the people who sponsored the program, they were looking at the stage like the Amish buying an iPhone. They had no idea what the hell was happening, and he was just going at it. Because if you've ever seen Mickey do comedy, it's like watching Michelangelo work in paint. The way he uses profanity. He will use terms for genitalia that aren't even anatomically correct. It pulls it off great.
And by the way, this has a lot to do with soccer.
Yeah. Well, talking about soccer, man,
Yeah.
give me your thoughts on the pay-to-play system.
I made a decision a couple of years ago when my son started playing about this, and some of the bigger clubs in town, I don't want to call anybody out, but they have name guys that own it and run it and are really good. But I kind of go with the theory that Pete had, that the love of the game is what I think still lives in me. And I played on teams where we might have won one game, and then I played on teams where we couldn't be beat no matter what. And we were coached by the same guys, and these guys went to work, when they were done practice, or got off work and came and coached us. And they were great players in their time and incredible coaches. And as much as I understand the business side of the game, where I think it really hurts at the next level for American soccer is you get these prima donna type attitudes in the game, and you see it now on the national team. I mean, I watched the other night, and there's like 3 guys on that team, and I don't know anything, but 3 guys on that team that I would keep, I would cut every other player. I would cut every player on that team. I know guys in this area that are better than most of those guys. And I think that comes from a culture of, it's like we don't have the professional organization yet. I mean, we do, but they don't funnel. Like the academies in Europe are real academies.
Right.
These kids from London or from Brisbane or from Hamburg or from wherever they're from are chosen to play for a funded program because they're the best players. My idea would be take all these private clubs and truly privatize them. Make the clubs raise money and affiliate themselves at a higher level where they can just pick and choose the players they want, and it doesn't cost the player. It doesn't make any sense to me that just because my kid, or I'm a wealthy enough parent to afford 10 grand a year or whatever it is for my kid to play for the most elite club, that he should be on it. Well, that's not the best soccer team. That's, to me, that's the most well-equipped financial soccer team.
Right.
And that doesn't always produce. I mean, who's the amateur team that just went last year or 2 years ago, went real far in the cup at the pro level? Christos. I mean, those guys are bartenders, welders, whatever. Nothing special there, and it's just great players that grew up playing together, know each other. I don't begrudge these guys making money.
Yeah.
I certainly don't. But I do think that it's hurting I think it's hurting the American national representation of what we do. And I think it's why the sport's not growing as rapidly as it should, because all of a sudden now, a kid that's 13 goes, I want to play for this club. Well, maybe he's not even good enough, number one, or his parents can't afford it. So he's like, well, I don't want to play rec.
Right.
Not realizing how great rec is. You know, I've seen some rec teams that just literally wrecked other teams.
Yeah.
You know, and they were great because they grew up together. You know, to me, it's a cash grab. And do you fault it? It's America. It's capitalism, which I'm all for. But I don't expect great soccer because of it.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Mick. You played your whole life.
Yeah.
Who are some of the influences that you look back to and say, wow, that guy changed my life through soccer?
Mike Raborg. Mike Raborg was a goalie, went to Essex. They were amazing, that team, Essex Community College. And he lived close to me. And when we practiced like 11, 12, 14, he was like right out of high school and college, and he'd come down. And he showed me every trick as a goalie that you could learn. And I mean, he would stay with me after practice. And just, this is a guy, now when you're 12 and a guy's 20 and he's firing penalty shots at you, you're never gonna see that speed in a game.
Right.
You're never gonna see these curves and angles against your own age. So it made me a better player. He was completely batshit crazy, but in a batshit crazy way where like, he wasn't harmful, he was just nuts, and he made it so much fun, and he was so smart. I think the Karpovich brothers were huge influences on me, and their dad, even though I never played for him. I grew up in that area. And of course, Pep.
Yeah, Pepe was great.
Pepe was just a mind full of smart when it came to soccer. And I got to play for some teams and with some guys that were just incredible, like Pete Eibner. Did you ever see Pete play?
I played with him.
Let me tell you something. Between the 18 and the 6, that guy could get there in about 14 seconds. He'd start at the 18 and back up, and within 30 seconds, he was in his position.
He's ready to go.
I'm kidding. I will say this. Pete was the best defender I ever played with. When we were at Curly.
Speaks volumes.
That's the truth. When we were at Curly, I can't remember the other 3 defenders. I'm not, that sounds horrible, but I just remember Pete just kicking ass, and it was awesome.
But let me ask you a serious question. I'm being totally serious here. What was better, his skill level or his mullet?
Well, we both shared the mullet, so I'm going to go with his skill level.
Okay.
Because my mullet was better than his.
His mullet was unbelievable.
It defied gravity. Bono looked at my mullet and
Did
went,
you have the frosted tips? Did you have the frosted tips?
Dude, I had anything you could imagine.
Really?
I thought I was in Duran Duran for 6 years.
Look, first of all, let me just say this. There has never, ever, not in Europe, not in America, not in Japan, ever has there been a soccer player with a better hair catalog than this man right here.
I rival Ronaldo on hair.
Really?
Yeah, I could change my hair week to week, and it was. I was very into the fashion side of things, or as my dad called it, gay. And for years, my dad thought I was gay because, number one, my dad was a very good traditional American football player.
Ah, okay.
Right? He was big, strong guy. Loved hitting things, and here comes this little son with this, ridiculous hair and just diving all over the place. It was fun.
He had one period, it was like 1 week he's Billy Idol.
Yeah.
And there would be like a cachet of girls like, Mickey, Then all of a sudden, the back grew out and it was Duran Duran. And a whole new gaggle of women. Mickey, Then
he got tired of hearing "Hungry Like the Wolf,"
and
then he was "Flock of Seagulls."
Right. I went through that.
Right. And then he went through like long. You remember the long hair?
Yeah,
when you were in the band.
I was in Motley Crue for a while too.
Oh, nice.
After Duran Duran, that was my most favorite gaggle of women.
Why?
No comment.
So the party time went up and soccer time went down.
Yeah, well, you know what happened is when I I guess I was about 20, and I started playing music and doing comedy. I'd been doing comedy, but I also started playing music. And like being an entertainer, kind of passion-wise, surpassed soccer for me at that time. And to be honest, I mean, I up in school. I wasn't a good student. I failed out. So like soccer to me was just like, oh, I'll play every now and then. And then in my late 30s, I started playing again up in the Falston League, in that over 30 league, which by the way, is an incredible league and full of some incredible players. And you know, I was a true older guy. They had a lot of guys that weren't 30 yet, believe me. But I loved it, and I played for like 5 years, and just, you know, by then I was fat and whatever and out of shape.
Hung up the spikes.
Yeah, but I broke my ankle at 42 or 3, and I said, you know what?
That'll do it.
I'm kind of done. But I still, to this day, I mean, I'm excited today. There's, you know, Champions League. I don't know when this airs, but as we're recording this, the Champions League starts today. And yeah, I love the sport so much. And I finally got one of my kids into it, and he loves it. He's been down to train with Pete a couple times. And it's just, to me, you know, the Ravens play, and I go, yeah, I'll watch the game. But the thing I love about it is, it used to be Sunday mornings I had to watch 3 hours of NFL pregame shit talking about X's and O's, and now I literally can watch soccer until kickoff. And then it's kind of a letdown.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, I'll watch football now. But yeah, I mean, I'm a true, I mean, I love the game. I love it inside and out. And I've become a little bit of a historian over it, just the way I am, the way my mind works. And I see the big mistakes that we're making in American youth soccer. And it's, a lot of it has to do with this one type of style of play that a lot of unknowledgeable coaches seem to be putting down these kids' throats. And even against my son's coach's wishes, my son turned out to be a good little striker. And every time he touched the ball, his coach is yelling, you know, dump it outside. And the kid's like 20 out, 25 out. So finally I told my son, I'm like, listen, I'm wrong for saying this, but turn it inside one time and run towards the goal. And he led the league in goals, you know, and his coach would be like, I told you to take it outside. And Carlin would just go, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You know, and it's carrying on. And now I'm coaching this year, which is fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's rec, and I wouldn't coach club. I can't deal with the unrealistic expectations, especially the amount of money these parents are paying. You know, it's like I charge people to see me perform, and when I walk on that stage, it's serious to me. You know, it's $20 to see me.
Sure.
$40 for a couple. That's not $6. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money to a lot of people. So when I walk out there, I'm not going to let them see some half-assed kind of ragtag show. I'm going to give the best show I can. So I look at it that way too.
And see, from my perspective, and I'm sure you're the same way, like that's how I approach coaching the game.
Yeah.
So I educate myself outside, off the field.
Yeah.
I constantly try to keep up with modern techniques and methods and all that, and then so when I show up, it's all business to me. Like I want to have fun and I want to, you know, make sure the kids leave wanting more, but I'm going to give them everything I have for that 90 minutes or 2 hours or whatever it is.
And I think that's brilliant. And I think one of the things, Pete, I was in the room earlier when you guys were talking, and Pete was talking about guys like Sonny Askew, and I mean, there's so many other guys you could name. There's Santino, you know, you could Jules Salenza. These guys they're naturally gifted.
Sure.
And I went and played a couple weeks ago. I forget the name of the place up on Pulaski Highway. Wednesday night, they have like a pickup game indoor.
Is that Bobby McAvan's place?
Yeah. And I went and played with these kids, and most of them were between like 20 and...
It's actually Bobby McAvan's, as known as the...
Maryland Sports Arena.
Yeah.
What he was trying to get me to do is do my Bobby McAvan. It's a great atmosphere at the Maryland Sports Arena. You can come and look at me training kids in the back with my Liverpool gear all over the place. They finally won. It's the first time they've had to use their trophy case in almost 50 years.
Well, the thing I wanted to say, that's hilarious. The thing I wanted to say about it, though, was obviously, I mean, I'm twice the age of anyone on the field, and I'm just cherry picking and
Right.
whatever. And they thought it was funny, some 50-year-old guy out there running around with them. The level of ball skill and trickery that they had, to me, just blew my mind.
Crazy.
But-
So much better.
But the difference is, we never saw it growing up.
Yeah.
We didn't
for
have
sure.
it. I mean, 7 days a week now, you can watch the greatest players in the world, and you can look at that, and then you could go out back. Remember the first time somebody did a Maradona?
I was going to say, we were playing before
Before
Maradona invented the Maradona.
Yeah. I did it at Hartford Road in the tennis courts. I did the Maradona pre-Maradona. Before Maradona, it was called the Cucchiella, and that son of a bitch did it at the World Cup and stole it
Stole
from
your
me.
idea.
Stole your
Justin
stuff.
Sabisky and Bill Karpovich will still tell you to this day, it was the greatest move they've ever seen. And what was I doing out of goal, first of all, and did this move, and then a year and a half later, it's in the World Cup, and they both called me and said, Maradona just ripped you off. He must have been watching from Hall Springs.
You heard it here first. Maradona is a hack.
I don't know about a hack, but he's a thief. But no, you think about that. I mean, and that's a true story. I literally somehow did something and it worked. But imagine growing up, Pete, when we did, and every day we're watching Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh my gosh.
I watched Zlatan Ibrahimovic last night. First of all, he's the funniest soccer player that ever lived. If you've watched this documentary,
Oh, he's great.
He's my favorite soccer player ever. Not because he's the greatest, just because he thinks he is.
Yeah,
And
that's part of it. He sells it.
He sells it better than anyone. But watching that guy last night, I still say any top European team is putting him up top.
Right.
He's still that great. Why he chose to come to America, I think he just wanted to be in America. He's got all the money in the world.
Right.
Watching him play was so entertaining. But imagine guys like that, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Suarez, Aguero. These guys, I mean, we had soccer in Germany. Or
Yeah.
What was it called?
Soccer made in Germany.
Soccer made in Germany.
Channel 26.
And you had to watch it like this, like and hold the antenna.
Right, it was
Yeah.
all static.
Yeah, you saw 7 minutes of Beckenbauer doing something, and you're like, was that a goal? Was that a goal? and that was our. But the truth is, our real television for soccer was Herring Run Park, was Patterson Park, and we'd go down there and you'd see unbelievable players.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's how we learned. But these kids now, the skill levels are amazing individually. But I think what's happening, and I mean, you guys really coach, to success, may I add. Taking these kids that have the skill now and making them a team and a unit, that's what the top level of American soccer is missing. I'm going to tell you right now, every coach we've had on the American national team, in my opinion, has been a piece of crap because they don't know how to coach a style that isn't like anywhere else in the world. You watch Brazilians play, you go, that's Brazilians.
Right.
You watch Italians play, you go, that's Italians. You watch the English play, that's English, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese. You watch America play and you go, we're not really sure what we're doing, but we got some big guys, and Josie Altidore should never touch an American jersey again. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, and this is where our mindset in this country drives me crazy. He's big, he's strong. Oh, he must be great. And the truth is, when I see guys, I'll take a Pulisic every time. He's not gonna muscle guys off the ball. He's not, but he's
Work rate.
work rate is nonstop. He's like
Skill
a Wayne
level
Rooney.
through the roof.
And he's
Yeah.
got skill level. You know, when you watch Wayne Rooney play, have you ever gone, that's the sickest thing I've ever seen? Maybe a 30-yard strike at 1,000 miles an hour does it, but he ain't going in and out and spinning and
Yeah.
he'll go back and defend.
Works his ass off.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, I don't know, like the American game drives me crazy. I want us to be great.
We talked about this last week. This
Yeah.
exact thing.
Yeah.
We used to roll over teams in CONCACAF.
Yeah.
Just steamroll them. And we kind of had our own style of play.
It was tough.
And somewhere along the line, it went from be really good in the air and defend your hearts out and
Right.
play wide and attack, to we're going to we're going to hold the ball and hold possession the whole game, and we're willing to sacrifice results for style points.
Yeah.
And look, there's no style points in soccer, and even if there were, the French judge wouldn't give them to us anyway, because they're in cahoots with the rest of the, right? Just play to win.
Well, I'll say my favorite American team that I've seen growing up was, I guess, what year was that? The Donovan, Howard, that stretch of
That
team.
was the World Cup
98,
team of
2002,
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah, right in that
Yeah.
area, because they were all workhorses. And, you know, I don't think Landon Donovan gets enough credit. You know, I think some people go, oh, he was a cherry picker at times. He was, you know, he scored a lot of goals because no one else was out there with him. But you also had guys like Clint Dempsey. You had McBride, who I think is
that guy.
one of the greatest American players ever.
Goal scorer, hard-nosed in the box. When's the last time we won a head ball?
And you,
like that
and you got Josie Altidore. How do you not win a head ball?
Yeah, we had that. We did talk about that last week about the American strikers and.
Listen, America to me is the last country to cultivate soccer. Everyone else is ahead of us.
Sure.
In time and years spent, for the most part. And we have more money. This is what kills me. You take a country like Argentina, I don't know the total population, 20 million? Maybe?
No idea.
No
Right?
idea.
We have 300 million.
Right.
How do we not find 11 guys
That's
in
exactly
America?
what I said last week. It's
and I'm going to tell you
unbelievable.
why. It
Right.
all trickles back down to this club level where you have now divided players financially from talent. And in any other sport, I can't think of another sport where that happens like that. Football, there's football. And you play and you go to school and the elite rise. But this soccer stuff, they've invented a subculture of you can have the coolest looking uniform. You know, you could say you play and that your coaches were pros. Well, that's great. But then what happens when you're 15 and now you're playing at high school and you don't know one kid you've ever played with, and maybe you are really skillful and good, but you don't know what this kid does, you don't know where to send the ball for this guy, you don't know, I mean, it's just, to me, it's a poisoned culture for the future. I think at its level, it's great. And they are learning things that I think the average rec, or even besides you guys, the average high school coach in America usually was not an elite soccer player.
Yeah.
I'm finding. Maybe in this area.
Well, look, in
because
this area,
it's such a big.
the two that I played for Mario Shilapoti,
Right.
Maryland Soccer Hall of Fame,
Right.
Pep Perella, Maryland Soccer Hall of Fame. I was very lucky.
Yeah, right.
You know, Calvert Hall guys had Mr. Karp, who wasn't necessarily a soccer guy, but he was a disciplinarian that got you super fit, and he knew the game to teach it to win.
The one thing I'll say about Mr. Karpovich, because I never played for him, but I played with all of his sons, and he was always there watching. And he was just, some people, I think you have it, Pete, they have a mind for the game.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Karp, definitely.
He understood, he took his son, who was maybe the most skillful, best shooting guy I'd ever seen at 12 and 13, and made him a center defender.
By the way, which kid? Because they were all freaking great.
John. John, when I played against John as a goalie, I mean, he was playing forward or center half, and he would hit shots that were like, I'm like, that guy's 26 years old.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he was a year older than me, or two, you know. And he took him and moved them back.
Yeah.
Just a genius, you know.
Hey, look at Billy. Billy was, I remember when I was a kid,
Billy was the most skillful.
we would play against St. Francis.
Yeah, that was us.
And the score would be Billy Karpovich 5, St. Dominic's 2.
By the way, they never scored 2 goals
I was
against
going
me.
to say.
That's a lie. It might have been 5-1 because they subbed in a goalie at the end of the game or something.
Didn't Tony Delarose, didn't you miss a game and Tony Delarose had to play goal or something?
No, this is what happened. So Tony was the original goalie.
Right.
And we were playing a tournament at Loyola, and at halftime, something had happened. Tony hurt himself, did something, or didn't want to play anymore. We were kids. So Pep was like, who wants to play goal? And nobody raised their hand. And I was like, I'll play. And he's like, you're my right wing. And I'm like, I'll play. So I went in, and dude, it was a show from then on. I was diving. I was like, this is the greatest position on earth.
By the way, I got to tell you this. One of the best entertainers I've ever met in my life. And if you look at my comedy resume, I've worked with a lot of really entertaining people. He could make soccer entertaining. And it would be, you were the only guy I've ever seen had a ball hit right at him. You would go 3 feet to the right just so you could
back to the
dive.
left.
And it would look unbelievable.
You gotta make it dramatic, right?
Yeah,
It was,
man.
and it was unbelievable. It was such
I like
great
to play
times.
the Mexican style.
I like it,
Make
okay.
it drama and put on a show for people.
Come out of the goal and dribble people.
Yeah.
Coaches would be ripping their hair out. And he would never be.
What are you doing?
I'll tell you a quick story. I think it was at Curly. I got a basic ball back in my hands, and I dropped it down, and I started dribbling, and everybody's backing up, and I just kept going, and Pep's like, all right, feed it up, feed it up. And I just kept going and going. Next thing you know, I got across half field, and I just hit a ball, and Jason Dieter came in, head balls in the goal. I literally went to the other side, got an assist, and as I'm running back, everybody's like, yeah, and Pepe's like, yeah, screaming at me. Like, was not happy.
Oh, my God.
Thought it was the worst thing ever. But yeah, I mean, I love being a show off, you know?
Well-
So that was my problem.
I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
like, I'm interested in this because, like, I talked to Coach about it a lot, and he's given me his take on it.
Yeah.
But think of a Curly Calvert Hall game when you were back then in 86, 87, whatever
Yeah.
it is. And then think of the last one you went to 2 weeks ago, last year, whatever it is. What is the biggest difference between then and now?
Skill level is what I see. I see kids, especially in the midfield, that are turning the ball on a dime, where before, when we played, it was a lot of back ball, and you work it back out. I think the game's a little faster, and I think it's a better game visually. It was tougher when we played. We beat the hell out of each other, and that was an East Baltimore thing too. If you came from East Baltimore, you could fight and you took it on the field. But there were great players that came down from Falston.
Sure.
You know, the Barger brothers, Joe Scopel, a bunch of guys. I mean, Greg and Joey Barger were magical. But when you put them on with these, Northeast Baltimore City kids, they're from Falston. We're elbowing them in the face, and it's not getting called, and they don't understand. But they adapted quick,
Right.
And they learned. They went to play for post and things like that. And I think that's the big difference. We were tougher, I think, and more aggressive, more of an English German style. When I see it now, it's much more of a kind of skillful. They still have some body language in there, but I just think it's more of a graceful game now.
How much of that do you attribute to the better playing surface?
None. I mean, I think the better playing surface is good. I mean, we played on fields where you had to walk around before the game and get rocks and needles.
That's
and all
how.
that shit.
That's
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't think the pitch is to blame or to credit. I think it's taking away from the honest development of the game and the influence that the international game being exposed to Americans has had. I think that is something that is so overlooked. I mean, there's a reason I was a good baseball player, because I watched guys like, Mark Belanger and Brooks Robinson and Eddie Murray play baseball.
Sure.
Had I been able to watch, Beckenbauer and Canalia and Maradona every day, I think I would have been a 10-time better soccer player.
For sure. Yeah.
It gives you confidence when you see someone do something, as opposed to someone telling you can do it. When you see it, you go, all right, that's how you do it.
Sure.
I was at your facility, and one of your drills is these basic things, and you go, okay, everybody, Maradona. And there's 40 kids out there, and they all Maradona, both ways. And I'm like, even the fat kid did it. Like, I'm not being rude, but like all your kids just have this ability to skillfully execute these tricks and moves and then apply them while they're playing.
That's the thing. Can
Yeah.
you get them to apply it?
Right, yeah.
They know when to do it, how
Yeah.
to do it,
Yeah,
how to accelerate out of it. That's all important stuff.
yeah.
I didn't ever have that. The
I've
way
never.
I learned to dribble, Hand to God. The way I learned to dribble was watching Baltimore Blast games.
I'm the same way.
And watching Stan Stomenkovic hold the ball and shield his
roll
body.
it. Yep. And lean.
Yep, and lean and roll and use his body.
Well, when you weigh 280,
Yeah.
that kind of helps leaning
helps
into guys.
Do you know he's dead?
Yeah, I
Do you
did.
know how he died?
I don't want to guess.
He fell off. He fell off or through a roof, I believe.
That's a hell of a way
They
to
have
go.
a documentary. on
Why would you
YouTube
be
about
up
him.
on the? That would be the last place you should be.
Well, he played for Red Star. People forget about that.
Right.
I mean,
Prague, I think it was?
yeah, and that historically was one of the most like corrupt, gangster-owned, like and he told him, "I'm leaving," and they wouldn't let him play in any other country, so
So he came here.
to play indoor.
Best gift I ever got.
Yeah, no, I mean, and even from a goalie standpoint, watching guys like, oh my God, what was his name? Sepp Gattenhammer.
Sepp Gattenhammer had the fro.
Oh,
yeah.
Keith Van Aaron.
Keith Van Aaron was great.
I mean, Mick Van. I mean, they were
Great stuff.
They were all great players. Now, the indoor game's totally different.
Yeah.
But what that game taught me, the indoor game, because we were the first generation of kids
Yeah.
to play it, it taught me quickness
For sure.
and how to take a shot at 4 feet,
yeah.
full blast, and just how to get your body in the way.
What made you such an effective keeper, too, was how quick you were. You'd save, hit the ground, get back up.
Yeah, yeah.
And that might have had something to do with Mike Raborg, too. By the way, played over 50 soccer for DeSantis is with him 3 weeks ago. Mike Raborg still crazier than ever.
And you know, I think I'm not wrong about this. He made All-American as a goalie and a player.
Wow.
He was good. And he, by the way, just got inducted to the Maryland Soccer Hall of Fame. So Raborg, congratulations, brother.
He was the most influential guy for me. I still remember things he taught me. I teach them to kids now.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude. Anyway, we are off the crossbar. We're coming right back. We got the basement of the bank rocking, 500 people strong. Stark Raven soccer fans here, putting up the banners, holding up the scarves. It's all because we got Mickey Cucchiella in studio with us. Miz, is this not one of the best?
I'm so pumped about today, and I'm having a blast. It's great. Thanks for being here, Mickey.
Man,
It's
thank
awesome.
you guys.
Well, look,
I got to tell you, your Hulk Hogan approach to soccer shows
It's
is
good, isn't it?
amazing.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Because you watch the Jackets guys. You ever watch that?
Yeah. Men in Blazers.
Yeah,
They're awesome.
They're funny as hell. But you being a pro wrestler right now, talking about soccer, it's a
good
great
mix.
combination.
And that's what you need in Baltimore soccer. You need someone with the balls to go hit somebody with a chair. That's what you need from the coach.
Or a foreign object.
yeah,
Whatever it is.
some kind of foreign object.
I'm telling you, next time I'm coaching against you, Fuji salt. Boom. You want and then I'll face rake you. So here we go. Local soccer, college soccer. Arguably Baltimore's team, UMBC, big win the other night. Long Island University goes home. They're on the bus a little sad. Tell us about the Retrievers a little bit, Miz.
I think the Retrievers needed that one.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, I think they needed that one. They exploded for 5 goals, and via the video, a lot of them, were from close range. Whether it had been, good combination play to get a guy in tight, high percentage look, or following shots, something so elementary that you try to just brand in a kid's brain when they're young. Hey, if a guy's taking a shot, follow up. They had a couple tap-in goals off follow-ups. Played sound defense, got some saves from Quantrell. Good win for them, and now they're on their way.
If you guys don't mind, real quick, we talked about so many great Maryland stories. Pete Caringi,
Yeah.
to me, should be the national team coach. I say that in total seriousness.
I've said that before, and I'm telling you, best coach I've ever played for.
I've never had a chance to play for him, but I know him well, and I've never heard or seen a player that played for him that wasn't like, he's the greatest.
Yeah.
And he's obviously got a style, and that, to me, you want to make American soccer on the national level great, you need him or a guy like him.
Guy like him.
Yeah.
I got to coach with him for 4 years, 2007 to 2010, those seasons. And I know you're doing the math, but you got to count 2007 as the first one's 4 years.
Right.
Anyway,
No, I'm with you.
So here we go.
By the way, Mario Shilapoti failed me at math at Curly, but we won't bring that up.
Did he give you a red card too?
Yeah, I got red carded. Yeah.
So with Coach Caringi, every day that I went into work as an assistant coach, it was like you taking kung fu lessons from Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like getting your PhD in coaching.
And you got to tell yourself that's just natural for him. He didn't learn that.
Well, he does. He puts in a
No,
lot
you're
of
missing
work.
my point.
But he is a natural.
He didn't
leader.
grow up in England. He didn't grow up in Germany. He grew up in
for
Highland
sure.
Town.
Yeah, for sure.
And he developed that. That's what's amazing to me about that guy.
What
So are you saying you're not a fan of Greg?
Berhalter? He's got like 17 G's in his name.
I'm not sure who we're talking about.
The national team coach, Greg Berhalter.
Oh, I don't even know who the coach is now. Whenever they flash to the side, I just go like this. I don't even want to look at him.
Okay.
When they brought Bruce Arena back, that's when I started watching the girls. And I got into the girls more. And by the way, let me say one other thing about the girls, equal pay. I have no problem with that. 100% equal pay. But they have to play the men's team first. And if they draw 0-0, equal pay. Totally.
That was maybe the most well thought out statement, and I don't even know that he thought it out.
I didn't
it
think
was
it up.
it was the most
Now,
thought out statement
here's the
I've
other
heard
part.
on that topic.
If they beat the men 1-0, they get more money.
There's no question. No question. Put him in charge of U.S. soccer, can we? And look, it's going to be well done. It's going to be funny as hell, and it's going to be something
And I'm
you
going to
haven't
tell you
seen
something.
before.
Every goalie's wearing a clown mask.
Morgan's giving you high eyebrow raises on the equal pay stuff, just so you know.
No, listen, I am for the equal pay. What I can't take, I'm a realist.
Right?
I love watching the women play, but it is subpar soccer. When you're watching, it's not as good. And the reason it's not as good is because it's not as fast, it's not as strong, and it's not as aggressive. But it's still incredible. And I will fight to the end on this. It's the WNBA, it's the same thing.
Right, no question.
It's not an insult. It's not.
They're the best women's players at their sport on the planet.
Hands down.
No question.
No doubt.
That is a
But I am for equal pay because they draw more viewers. And
if they bring in the same amount of revenue,
but there's a lot of other stuff that goes into that.
There's a simple analogy to it, and really, we can go and dumb it down to being a high school soccer coach, right? We're high school soccer coaches. Would we ever be afforded the same liberties as our football teams, right? No, because the football
bring in more money.
brings the people, right? They
Yeah.
put the butts in the chairs,
Yeah.
and they should be rewarded for that. I mean, is it fair? I don't know. I don't get to make that call, but
I got a question though. How did we all of a sudden become the Rush Limbaugh show? And how did we get off? We were talking about UMBC.
Because Morgan got really pissed and we all got scared. Because it's the hashtag Me Too movement.
she's intimidating.
Right now.
It's just not fair.
Which, by the way, can I end my part with this?
Go ahead.
The hashtag Me Too thing, I'm all for it.
Right?
But whoever thought of it is an idiot. Because I remember when hashtag was the pound sign. So I read this article about women not being sexually oppressed, and it ended with pound me too. And I just thought, wait a minute, somebody should have thought this through.
right,
Why not question mark me too, or exclamation mark me too, or pound me too? Okay, I'm in. Give the women the same money.
What a segue back.
He's saying he just took 2 steps and go back and made the same. He's incredible.
What a great segue into the UMBC game.
Yeah, who's the, don't you give an award out?
We do. We're going to talk about that. So UMBC comes out, 3 goals in 13 minutes, open it up with Ryan Betcher scoring in the first minute, right? Huge goal, gets the pressure off the Retrievers. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, it got insight. It was, actually, it looks easy from watching it, but it's more difficult finish than it looks. But it was great for them to kind of get in It took them a while to chip away, and they finally got the goal. And so they were off and flying 1-0 lead at home. It was a nice night, nice crowd. So
1,000 people there?
yeah,
Was it
puts you in a-
1,500?
Puts you in a great spot. You know?
Yeah.
Keeps
That's
going.
impressive.
Oh my gosh, they're one of the
1,500 people.
leading. They draw one
Yeah.
of the leading attendances for college soccer in the country.
Yeah.
The top
Phenomenal
20.
atmosphere, absolutely.
It is amazing. The lights, the hill, the everything on it's dead spot on. So they get another one at the 3rd minute mark, and then Archbishop Curley product comes to the table, buries one at 13 minutes to put the game 3-0. Tell us a little about this goal, Miz.
Alejandro Arbeles, curly guy, like you said, and he got a ball actually on his left foot, and top of the box, it's volleying, he turns on it, hits it with his left, top shelf where, Aunt Jenny keeps the crunchy Skippy that no one eats.
Great
shot.
goal. Absolutely fantastic goal. And then it's just a matter of working them from that point in. I'll say this, having played at UMBC, having coached at UMBC, and having them watch them play through the years, you give a Pete Caringi coach team a lead at home, strike up the band, put everybody to bed, because it's good night, folks. It is over.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. UMBC kept control of the game, end up walking away with a 5-1 win. Another Curly product, Trey Pulliam, finishes the 4th goal, which I think was at the 73rd minute. Tell us a little bit about Trey, Coach.
Yeah, Trey was a recipient of a great shot, and again, we were just talking about following up shots, right? He saw the guy get in, take a shot, and he right to the goal. The goalkeeper spills it in front. It's an easy tap-in goal. Again, it's something that looks easy, but
it's not easy.
If the heart's not there to get to the frame and crash that rebound, you don't get that goal. So it's good for Trey.
So here's something that's cool, Mick. You played soccer on the same teams with your brother, right?
Yeah.
So his brother Chip, they're 1 year apart, played soccer together. You guys,
Chip was a much better player than I was.
Chip was a goal scorer.
Yeah.
And he was really quick feet, good goal scorer. Did you two ever score in the same game?
No, I was always goalie by then. By the time he was any good, I was always in the goal.
Well, check this out. Division I men's soccer program. Ryan Betcher scores in the 1st minute to cap off the 5th goal. Jackson Betcher, his brother, for the Retrievers. Now, here's an amazing thing to me. How do you get 2 kids in college at the same time? At the same college playing Division I? Huge compliment to the athleticism of that family.
Oh, yeah.
And a busy summer for someone's parents, right?
Yeah, really. And I can only think of one other family that's done that, where they had 2 kids on the same team, and that's Andrew Bulls and Daniel Bulls, who also played at UMBC and were absolutely 2 of the best. So that is a huge compliment.
Well, I think you forgot about Stosh and Joe.
You're right. Stosh
and
Kozio
Joe.
and Joe Kozio,
Yeah.
Loyola College,
Yeah.
back in their heyday in the late 80s, where they were one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
Good pull.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep.
Excellent.
So the other thing that one of the weirdest stats that in that game, shots were only 8-7. So that just shows
It's a
you
high
UMBC
percentage, man.
super efficient, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
if you're getting 5 goals from 8 shots,
You don't get that too often. But
rarely.
I will tell you, that is the product of aggressive in the box, concentration in the box, and I guarantee you that they have done drills, repetitions, practices where finishing in the box is key. So Anthony Adams, Pete Caringi, and Petey Caringi, who might be one of the best ever to come out of Baltimore in that vein, finishing in the box, key to the game.
Yeah.
So, you're going to like this.
All right.
Comes from my favorite part of the show. Favorite part of the show. We pick one player, and we give them this award. What do you notice about me and The Miz?
What, you mean like what stands out about you?
Yeah,
two?
right now. What would you, first thing?
You both have eyes on your penis.
Okay.
Your heads look like penises.
Okay, all right. I was going to say it's a little weird.
You're both bald.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So,
You look like you could grow from here back if you wanted. From here back.
I could do the great, like, you know,
Alan Alda.
yeah, like I could do a good comb over. I
Alan
think.
Arkin.
A strong comb over. Now look, you know what I could do? I could get Larry David, like nobody's business, where it's coming out of the sides and the neck hair like crazy, but you look at the top and it's just nothing but melting ice caps from the sun reflecting off of it. I could do a mean-ass Larry David.
I like this.
You do that, I'm going to get a mustache and go Dr. Phil. What do you
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
you would
beautiful.
be a great Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. Coming up on the show today.
What you gotta do is take care of the problems in your life.
Have you ever met a guy though that literally says nothing but horse? And people go, wow, that's brilliant. What you have to do is understand that your tomatoes are all in one bag. That's his whole piece of advice.
You know what I do?
That's
when I find-
genius.
Oh
Give
my
this guy
God.
millions.
Separate the tomatoes.
You know what I do when I find somebody like that?
What?
I ask him to be a guest on the show. So, you hit the nail on the bald head, man.
Yeah.
We have hair envy. There's
Yeah.
no question.
Right. How about all this?
I would love to have that. I would straighten
I have so much hair, I don't even bother combing it.
Yeah, I know. You wake up in the morning and go, F it.
F it, it's
And
there.
it looks good. Me, I got to shave. It's a nightmare. But anyway, if you had to pick anybody in the course of history to have their hair, who would you pick?
To have their head of
Yeah,
hair?
like if you could have, you go through everyone in the course of history.
And it's a talk. I could probably name 3 guys.
Give me 3.
David Hasselhoff.
Great hair.
I mean, say what you want.
Yeah.
Great hair.
By the
Elvis.
way, I just saw a picture with him on social media a couple weeks ago. He was at a party somewhere,
Yeah.
and he had a T-shirt on that said, "Don't hassle
So
the
the
Hoff."
Hoff. Yeah.
That's
Brilliant.
Great, man.
Elvis is right up
Elvis,
there.
great hair.
Incredible hair.
Absolutely.
And,
By the way, I used to have hair like a young Elvis Presley. No more.
Really?
Yeah, man, my hair was tight.
Did you have blue suede shoes too?
I
or-
did not. I had blue Adidas Gazelles.
Oh, close
Close
enough.
enough.
Close enough.
Yeah, close
That's the
enough.
1989 version of blue suede shoes. My third choice might be Patrick Swayze from what was the Roadhouse?
This is why you're here.
Oh, really?
Because we have this award that we give to one player every week. And it is the Patrick Swayze Player of the Week. So
He
it
loves
is-
it. That means he loves it.
The Patrick Swayze Player of the Week. Just look at that mullet. That's the mullet you're talking about right there. The Patrick Swayze Roadhouse mullet. And you know why we do this, Mickey? Because you have to be nice
Right.
until
Till
it's time to not be nice. Patrick Swayze Roadhouse mullet. So what we do is we take that beautiful head of hair and we have Miss Morgan put it on our Player of the Week.
Which is who this week?
Miss, who do you think it should be?
It's UMBC/curly product Alejandro Arbeles. What a strike.
You know, I got to say, putting a mullet on a Hispanic kid, not too far off. There's
It's not out of the
it's
realm
not
of
out of the realm.
possibility.
I was watching the Trump speech last night in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Saw a couple of these verbatim, real. Latinos for Trump with the mullet.
What if I told you this kid was French?
Then I would say that that's an unfortunate name to have for a French kid.
I don't think he's French, but Alejandro, there he is. Now, we have Miss Morgan, who is the most talented producer in the country. There is your award.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Look at him.
It's beautiful.
He could be at a Trump rally.
I want to get in a bar fight right now.
Alejandro, congratulations. UMBC.
Casey's French.
In case he's
I don't want
French.
to offend him.
Right.
Yeah.
Cover the bases, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, do you know what that means in French? Yeah.
I think it means yes.
Well, we got to close the show because we've been at it for about an hour and I got to take a wicked yes. So, I am the coach, Pete Eibner. This is the co-coach, Adam the Miz Mizell. We're here with our guest, Mickey Cucchiella. Thanks for coming in,
Thanks,
brother.
Pete. Thanks, brother.
Thanks,
We
man.
are off the crossbar. Booyah!